In this session, we are going to discuss about the numericals which is involved in the evaporation phenomena or evaporation process. Now, in the previous lectures, we have discussed about the evaporation process, then different terminologies like capacity economy. Then we have also discussed about the energy balance equation. We have also discussed about the types of evaporator and their functioning. And now we have to calculate some parameters, that is unknown parameter from the given data, right? So we will start from the basic numerical. So for the evaporation, the first numerical is calculate the boiling point elevation. So we have to calculate boiling point elevation of a solution and the driving force for heat transfer using the following data. So we have to calculate driving force, that is nothing but temperature difference. So these are the two targets, that is to calculate boiling point elevation and to calculate delta T. So what is given? Solution boils at a temperature of at a temperature of 380 Kelvin, and the boiling point of water in the vapor space is 373 Kelvin. Boiling point of water is 373 Kelvin. The temperature of condensing steam is 399 Kelvin. So this is the given data, that is the different temperatures, and they asked to calculate the boiling point elevation and delta T, that is driving force, right? So what is boiling point elevation? So boiling point elevation or boiling point rise is nothing but the difference between the boiling point of solution and the boiling point of water, right? So boiling point elevation or boiling point rise is equal to the difference between boiling point of solution and boiling point of water. So what exactly the boiling point of solution is? So that is nothing but 380. So it is given solution boils at 380 Kelvin. So the boiling point of solution is 380 Kelvin. Then the boiling point of water is 373 Kelvin. So the difference between these two temperatures is 7 Kelvin. So boiling point elevation or boiling point rise is equal to 7 Kelvin. Now they also ask about to calculate the driving force. So what is the driving force? The temperature difference between the steam and the boiling point of, and the solution temperature. So what is the temperature of that solution? So here they have given only the boiling temperature of the solution, and here they have given the temperature of a condensing steam. So it is delta T is nothing but Ts minus T. So Ts is nothing but here condensing steam temperature, that is 399 Kelvin, and here the boiling point of solution temperature is 380 Kelvin. So it is 19 Kelvin, right? Because this driving force is nothing but the temperature of steam, because steam is going to provide the heat for this solution, and the solution is getting the heat, and the temperature increases of that solution, and after some time the boiling point of water reaches and water is evaporating. So this is the process. So the process is depends on this temperature difference of this saturation temperature or steam temperature and the temperature of the solution. That is why it is denoted by the driving force or delta T. So this is the simple numerical in the evaporation process. Now we will take another numerical. An evaporator operating at atmospheric pressure. So evaporator is operating at atmospheric pressure. Atmospheric pressure means 1 atmosphere. That is nothing but 101.325 kilopascal. Is fed at the rate of 10,000 kg per hour. 10,000 kg per hour. Fed means the feed mass flow rate is 10,000 kg per hour. Of weak liquor containing 4% caustic soda. So the concentration is 4% caustic soda. So this is the feed, that is nothing but the weak liquor. Right. Then thick liquor leaving the evaporator contains 25% caustic soda. Find the capacity of the evaporator. Right. So this is the problem. In the numerical, the data given is evaporator is operating at atmospheric pressure. Feed is fed at the rate of 10,000 kg per hour. The concentration is 4% caustic soda. And the thick liquor is leaving and having the concentration 25% caustic soda. So we have to calculate the capacity. Now, first of all, we must know what exactly the capacity is. So capacity is kg of water evaporated per hour. So capacity definition or the formula is kg of water evaporated per hour, right? So we have to calculate this kg of water evaporated in the operation. So how exactly the schematic or the diagram or the block diagram for this numerical is? Here it is evaporation or evaporator, feed, thick liquor. Now this feed means weak liquor having 4% caustic soda and 10,000 kg per hour is the mass flow rate of this feed. Now here water evaporated, we don't know the exact value, and in this thick liquor we know only percentage of caustic soda, that is concentration, right? So if you observe this diagram, from this block diagram we can understand, for calculation of this capacity, that is kg of water evaporated per hour, we should know the mass flow rate of this thick liquor. Then and then only, with the help of overall material balance, we can calculate this water evaporated, right? Because in the overall material balance of this evaporator, feed equal to kg of water evaporated plus thick liquor, right? And individual material balance for the solute, now in this case caustic soda, is in the feed 4% of caustic soda is there, right? So it is 0.04 and the mass flow rate is 10,000 kg per hour. So into 10,000 equal to, now here only water is there, no solute is present. So 0, but in this thick liquor 25% caustic soda is there. So 0.25 into mass flow rate of thick liquor. So we can calculate the mass flow rate of this thick liquor with the help of this individual material balance. That comes 1600 kg per hour, right? So if you know this value, then with the help of this feed, as we know the mass flow rate of this thick liquor, we know the mass flow rate of this feed, we can calculate this kg of water evaporated, right? So from this overall material balance, we can calculate the kg of water evaporated as feed is 10,000 minus the mass flow rate of thick liquor is 1600. So we can calculate the kg of water evaporated as 8400 kg per hour. So this is the kg of water evaporated, but in the numerical they asked to calculate the capacity. So the capacity and this kg of water evaporated is one and the same, because this is the flow rate, not only the mass, right? So this capacity is nothing but the kg of water evaporated. So the capacity of this evaporator is 8400 kg per hour. So this is the final answer for this numerical, right? Now we will discuss the numerical in which they are going to ask about to calculate the area of heat transfer of the evaporator, right? Now what is given in the example? An evaporator is operating at atmospheric pressure. So evaporator is operating at atmospheric pressure. It is desired to concentrate a feed from 5% solute to 20% solute. So 5% solute to 20% solute. So in this evaporator, the concentration is increasing from 5% to 20% by weight. at a rate of 5000 kg per hour. Dry saturated steam at a pressure corresponding to the saturation temperature of 399 Kelvin is used. So dry saturated steam is used at the saturation temperature 399 Kelvin is used as a heating media. The feed is at 298 Kelvin. So feed is at 298 Kelvin. That is the weak liquor is feeding at this temperature, that is approximate 25 degrees Celsius, normal room temperature. And the boiling point rise is given, boiling point rise or boiling point elevation is 5 Kelvin. Then the overall heat transfer coefficient is 2350 watt per meter square Kelvin. So this capital U value is given. Calculate the economy of the evaporator and the area of heat transfer to be provided. So first of all, you should understand what exactly the data is given, what is to be calculated, and then how it is to be calculated, right? The other data given in this numerical for the calculation purpose is treating the solution as a pure water and neglecting the BPR, that is boiling point rise, the latent heat of condensation of steam at 399 Kelvin is 2185 kilojoules per kg. So in this case, neglecting boiling point rise and considering or treating a solution as a pure water. Then latent heat of vaporization of water is given at 373 Kelvin, 2257 kilojoules per kg. Then specific heat of feed, that is CPF 4.187 kilojoules per kgK. So this is the other data which can be useful for calculating the unknown parameters. Now after reading the numerical, first we must understand what is to be calculated. So we have to calculate the economy of an evaporator and the area of heat transfer, right? Then we must think of how to calculate this economy and area. So economy, we have already discussed that it is a kg of water evaporated per hour. So for this purpose, we must know the kg of water evaporated per hour, that is mass flow rate of kg per hour of water. Then what is that area? So for the area of heat transfer calculation, we have to use the formula, that is Q equal to UA delta T. From this formula, we can calculate this unknown A, provided we should know the values of this Q, U and delta T, right? So suppose if you are thinking about these parameters, so what is Q? So Q is not given in the problem. So how to calculate this Q? Then for that purpose, we can calculate the Q as MS lambda S formula, or we can calculate it as MCP delta T plus M lambda formula. So this MCP delta T is for feed and this M lambda for steam, because in the evaporator we are going to provide the heat, that is latent heat from the steam. So heat is given out by the steam. So we can calculate this rate of heat transfer or the quantity of heat with the help of steam only. And this heat is gained by the solution for increasing the temperature of this solution. And after some time, after reaching the boiling point of water, the liquid is going to convert into vapors. So with the help of this also, that is the combination of sensible heat Q and latent heat Q. So this is the vaporization calculations and this is the sensible heat calculation for the feed. So from this formula or from this formula, we can calculate this Q. Again, we have to check whether all these parameters are given or not. So this is regarding the Q. Then U is given in the numerical itself. That is U equal to 2350 watt per meter square Kelvin. So no worry about this capital U. Then about delta T. So what is delta T? That is nothing but the driving force. In the previous numerical, we have discussed about this delta T. So the difference of steam and solution. So the temperature of steam and the temperature of the solution. So if you know these two temperatures, then we can calculate this delta T. So if you know delta T, if you know Q, or we can calculate these parameters, and we know already U, then we can calculate this A, right? And for this kg of water evaporated per hour, that is for economy, we have to use again the overall material balance and individual material balance, right? As we have done in the previous numerical. So for that purpose, we have to take the judgment of what exactly the feed is and what exactly the output is. So in this numerical, suppose this is evaporator. The feed for this evaporator is evaporator at atmospheric pressure, 5% solute. So concentration is 5% and it is going to convert into 20% solute. So this is the thick liquor. This is feed or weak liquor. And kg of water evaporated. So this is the block diagram for this evaporator. Now what is other things given? 5000 kg per hour. So the feed rate is given, that is 5000 kg per hour. So in the numerical, mass flow rate of feed is given. So we can calculate the mass flow rate of thick liquor with the help of individual material balance. And if we calculate this mass flow rate of thick liquor, then we can calculate the kg of water evaporated per hour. That is nothing but the economy. So from the individual material balance of solute, that is concentration of solute in feed equal to the concentration of solute in thick liquor. So 5% of feed equal to 20% of thick liquor, because there is no solute in the water. So solute in equal to solute out in the percentage term. So that is 0.05 of feed. So feed rate is given 5,000 equal to 20% means 0.20 and mass flow rate of that thick liquor. So from this we can calculate the mass flow rate of thick liquor, that is 1250 kg per hour. So this mass flow rate of thick liquor is nothing but the product mass flow rate, and from this data now we can calculate the economy, that is nothing but the kg of water evaporated. So how to calculate? We can use the overall material balance. So overall material balance is feed equal to water evaporated plus thick liquor, right? So the feed is given 5,000 kg per hour equal to water evaporated, that is unknown, and thick liquor is 1250. So we can calculate water evaporated as 5,000 minus 1250, that is 3750 kg per hour, and that is nothing but the capacity of this evaporator. So this is one part of this solution, because they asked to calculate the economy. So we have already calculate this economy, right? Now how to calculate this area? So for that purpose we have already discussed that we should know the value of Q, then delta T, and we have already known about the U. So on that basis we can calculate the area. So for the calculation of economy, because actually I have written here kg of water evaporated per hour, that is the capacity, per kg of steam fed. This ratio is called as economy. Kg of water evaporated per kg of steam fed, that is economy. We have calculated only capacity, right? Now for this calculation we should know the mass flow rate of this steam, right? So here normally we are providing this Q, that is ms lambda s, because for the steam that is in the gaseous or vapor phase, that is why latent heat calculation should be there. So for calculating this mass flow rate of steam for this economy, we have to use this formula, that is Q equal to ms lambda s equal to mcp delta T plus m lambda, right? ms lambda s equal to mCp delta T, that is of feed, and m lambda is of vapors, right? So we will check whether all the parameters in the numerical is given or not. Ms, that is unknown, lambda s. Now in this numerical, latent heat of steam is given. Here lambda s is given. So the value of this lambda s is 2185. Then the mass flow rate of feed, so it is already given, that is 5000. Then Cp, that is specific heat, here it is given 4.187. Then delta T, that is the temperature difference, so it is for the feed. Now what is the temperatures? So the 378 is the temperature, and second one is 298. So how this 378 is? Because they have given the boiling point rise, right? So from this boiling point rise, we can calculate. Here I am writing boiling point rise is equal to boiling point of solution minus boiling point of water. Now 5 Kelvin is the boiling point rise, that is given, and the boiling point of water is given, that is 373 Kelvin. Here latent heat of vaporization, so vaporization takes place at 373 Kelvins. The vaporization is of water, so water's boiling point is 373 Kelvin. So in this case 373 Kelvin. So boiling point of solution is 5 Kelvin plus 373 Kelvin, that is 378 Kelvin. So this is the boiling point of solution, and this delta T is the difference of this boiling point of solution or the temperature of that solution and the temperature of feed. So in this example, the temperature of feed is given, that is 298 Kelvin, right? So the temperature of feed is given 298 Kelvin with the help of boiling point rise and this boiling point of water. We can calculate the boiling point of solution or the temperature of the solution. Now this delta T is nothing but the difference between the boiling point of solution and the temperature of feed. So this delta T can be put as 378 minus 298 plus m lambda of vaporization. Now what is the mass flow rate of water? So we have calculated this mass flow rate of water, that is 3750 into latent heat of vaporization. So it is given in the numerical lambda V 2257 kilojoules per kg. So if you observe this equation, in this equation only one is unknown, that is Ms. So from this equation, we can calculate MS as 4640.1 kg per hour. Right? Now we know the mass flow rate of the steam. Now in this economy definition, we required the kg of water, kg of steam and kg of water per hour, both flow rate. So we have calculated the kg per hour of water. Now we have calculated the value of mass flow rate of steam. So we can calculate the economy as equal to kg of water evaporated, that is 3750 kg per hour, and kg of steam fed, that is 4640.1. So the economy of an evaporator is 0.808. So the economy of an evaporator is 0.808. Right? Now, how to calculate area? So we have already discussed this formula, that is Q equal to UA delta T, can be utilized. So this Q equal to UA delta T. Now, from this A equal to Q upon U delta T. Right? So A equal to Q. So Q is nothing but MS lambda S. Now we have calculated the value of MS, that is 4640, and the lambda value of vaporization, lambda S is 2185. So this is 4640.1 into lambda S value is 2185. So that is the value of Q. U is already known, that is 2350. And delta T is nothing but the driving force, that is 399 minus 378. So this 399 temperature, here it is mentioned that latent heat of steam at 399 Kelvin. So the temperature of steam is 399 and the temperature of water or solution is 373 Kelvin. So we can write the driving force as 399 minus 378. So from this formula, we can calculate the area of heat transfer as 57.07 meters square. But in this case, please note that the mass flow rate is in kg per hour, the latent value is in kilojoules per kg, and the U value is in watt. So per hour and kilojoules, that is the units which we have to convert. So from kilojoules to joules conversion, we have to calculate by 1000, and for hours to second, we have to divide by 3600. Right? So why it is needed? Because the U is given in, that is overall heat transfer coefficient is given in terms of watt, and the lambda value is given in terms of kilojoules, and the mass flow rate is given in terms of kilojoules per hour. So this kilogram per hour, so this per hour calculation is converted into kg per second, because in watt joules per second is there. So these 2350 in terms of watt. So watt is nothing but joules per second. That is why this kg per hour is converted into kg per second with the help of this 3600 factor. And the 2185 value, that is in terms of kilojoules per kg. So we have to convert it into joules only rather than kilojoules. So for that purpose, we have to multiply it by 1000, because this joule and this per second, that is this second, now it gives us the watt unit. And here this 2350 is in terms of watt. Then and then only with the help of this unit conversion, we get this area value approximately 57 meter square. So in this way, we can calculate the heat transfer area